third list in this fourth section of the Satipatthana is called the 6 bases, or the 6 sense bases. And it's the 6 senses: seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting. The word that's used is touch, which is just for all general body sensations. And then the 6th is the mind, because the mind is not what we think of as the physical senses, but the mind is another, they call it the mind door. It's another way through the mind that we have experience. So to work with these, the instruction is, it's a whole practice that you can try taking on. We'll just start with the first one, seeing. There's the process of seeing. There's the objects that you see, the things that you see. And we can also be aware that there is just a process of seeing is happening. So it's more of, instead of a noun, an object, it's more of a verb, that seeing is happening. So we can be mindfully aware in that way. And then the term that's used here is noticing fetters. So what is a fetter? A fetter is something that keeps us stuck or caught or trapped in some way. So we're aware mindfully of seeing the process. We can be mindfully aware of the object that's being seen. Then we can be aware of what is the fetter that arises. Where do we get caught in reactivity in relationship to whatever we're seeing? You know, if there's something that you see that's really pleasant and you like and you want more, we're back really in the other model of the hindrances, where we're have that first one of sensual desire is arising. So we can know that and that's the fetter. We can be aware of that. We can also be aware when the fetter drops away. And so there's still the process of seeing and the object that's being seen, but we're aware that we're no longer caught or pulled or buffeted about by that wanting mind or the aversive mind. So that would be the dropping away of the fetter. And as was described in one of the previous lists, we can also be aware of what will prevent the fetter from arising in the future. So for seeing, if we know there's a person that you see, for example, or something you see that you really, really get pulled into a lot of sense desire about, you can know that. Or if it's someone who's very challenging and difficult that brings up ill will, you can know that mindfully. And then you could perhaps, if you have the opportunity, maybe avoid the person if necessary. You may not always have the opportunity to do that. Or just bringing our mindfulness to know what's happening so we can it's like getting a wedge of mindfulness in between the sense contact, and then we notice the Vedana of it, the pleasant and unpleasant, before we spill over into the craving and clinging. Right there is a place to bring your mindfulness. So these are different various ways to work. Again, with the first was seeing, but in the other senses, hearing, smelling, tasting, all the body sensations. For shorthand, we say touch. And again, for everything going on in the mind. Now that can be a lot. So there are different ways to work with this. You could pick one particular one, maybe just hearing, and experiment, see for yourself. What happens if you take a few minutes, a little bit of a time, an hour, part of a day, or it could be as long as you want, and keep your mindfulness on the fact of hearing, the sounds themselves and the fact of hearing, and just notice how that is for you. When difficulties come up, you're mindful of that. When things are pleasant, you're mindful of that. And that could be a whole practice. What would be the benefit of that? Well, when we're bringing the mindfulness to what's happening and we're able to let go of the fetters, then we're naturally more equanimous, balanced, in a harmonious relationship with things, as opposed to being at the effect of things and not so much pushed and pulled by things, but more sense of letting be and able to just be present with things in a peaceful way. That's really what, going back to the refrain that we've been discussing throughout this series, abiding independent, not clinging to anything in the world. So you can practice in this way. It's the prescriptive style. And then also, we're aware again, it can be descriptive, that if you just settle the mind with the breath, notice if then as your samadhi, the stability, the undistractedness deepens in your practice, are you naturally more aware when of seeing things and this whole process. So again, we have both the prescriptive and the descriptive ways we can approach the 6 sense bases.